Now, can you explain what a pleasure mindset is and how it can transform somebody's life? Because we're talking about imagination and that mindset.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting that um I was talking to my husband the other day that like we took on these journeys together. We both quit our jobs and we started businesses. And it's like it's a lot to take on. And then we had a baby at the same time,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And we are like we are going through some hard times. And like he has this like, okay, let's puff it up and like power through it, right? And I noticed for me, there is this like when I stop having pleasure, it's like all life stops.
Mm,
So just like looking for little scenes, like what actually brings me pleasure. And it just like not even talking about sexuality, just like that warm water in the morning or
mm,
that cup of tea, or I started like making ceremonial cacao that I sip that like
mm,
cup, right? Then like made bed that like and then like just to crawl into that made bed that it's just like it's not a mess, that it's like nicely made. Taking a bath, just sitting in hot water, like my body's something like just it just like so feels so wonderful. And then like just being touched, just like not in a sexual way, but just like from head to toe, just like feeling touch on my face, on my like everywhere, not in a way that like my partner tries to turn me on, but just like nourishing me with touch. And
mm,
so finding those scenes, and I notice when I find them and I bring them in my life, it's like it feeds me,
mm.
right? And then um and then I just like I have these creative ideas. I feel motivated, like I feel alive. I have energy, right? Like my life is flowing. And then looking into sexuality, that what brings me pleasure there, like what I really enjoy, what I really want. That like sometimes like I want my partner to tease me and just like to come, like to come into my room for like just give me a kiss and then leave. Right?
Mhm.
And just like discovering those scenes that like what really brings pleasure and prioritizing pleasure. So that's what I call pleasure mindset. And another scene, like a lot of times with my clients, when I bring up intimacy, people think that intimacy is the same as sexuality. It's just like sex, it's a taboo word, and intimacy is like a softer word. So it's like it's
Mm,
an easier word to say. And then I'm like, no, these are two different things.
mhm.
That intimacy is just so like it goes without sex, that like having closeness, like talking, like in a way I feel like I have intimacy with you right now, that we talk about something sacred that like a lot of
Yeah.
people don't talk, right?
Yeah.
In this way, and we are not sexual with each other, right? It's just like that closeness.
Hmm.
Or even touch, like I can touch my parent, I can touch a child and just feel that like nourishing, just so good. And intimacy can be merged with sex. And then like when we bring that like desire, the sexual energy, the genitals tingling, and we have closeness, for me that's like the best sex. That's just so wonderful, just like having that ah.
Yeah, it's like a
And
big, nice, warm hug.
yeah, and for other people, not, like that doesn't work. Like they like intimacy with, like with some people, and then like they prefer casual sex, which like there is no intimacy. We are all
Mm.
different. It boils down that we are all different, and it's important not to shame people that they have different preferences, right? Like they have different desires. So like just intimacy, bringing intimacy in. And a lot of times we have this scheduled date and I don't feel like having sex. But then we just sit and we look in each other's eyes and we
Hmm.
just touch. And I even might say that like, I don't feel sexual, so I don't want my breasts to be touched and my genitals to be touched. So I have boundaries. And then my partner will touch me, like from head to toe. We play some music and it just feels so wonderful. And I feel so connected to him. And just having that might make me feel turned on or not. And it just like it's not a goal, right? to just, a lot of times partners want closeness with each other, and then
Mhm.
they confuse it with sex.
I
You know,
see.
that it doesn't have to be sex. It's just like, just to be close, just to look in the eyes, talk about something that is hard to talk. And then when I talk to my partner, it's like something, like another door opens up and we are like closer,
Mm. That's
right?
nice. Yeah, I noticed that with my husband. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I just want a hug. I just want a hug, but then he thinks that's like an invitation to other things, and I say, no, 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 no. I just sometimes for me, I prefer sometimes just the closeness, just like the energies. Our energies are so compatible that it just feels good just to be
Mm,
next to each other. And so now for
yeah.
my energy, because I've done a lot of healing, I've done a lot of exploring, and
Mm,
I just know who I am, and I know where I come from. And I feel like I have that divine
yeah.
energy inside, and he does have the masculine energy. So when we do come together and have intercourse, what happens is that if I even bring out just a fourth of my energy of sexual energy, that's it. He senses it and it comes right out. And literally it comes right up. So I'm just
Mm,
like, so sometimes I have to hold back a little bit because I have that strong energy.
mm.
All my chakras I think are aligned because whenever I sense things, it comes from the top of my head. And I'm very intuitive as well.